but we're gonna get in here. All right, welcome. Let's get into it and have a look. We're just had a nice conversation about fonts and fonts and so on, copyright use and so on, and terms, and it kind of took a bit of a twist there, but that's all good. As mentioned, if you want to go in, everyone, and look more about the fonts, it was there for you. There was a class last week, and I know, again, there's a lot of videos from last week, but if you want to investigate a little further, I just go through the fonts here, okay? Font management. There's a how to work with fonts, right? And so on and so forth. Google Fonts is where I would point you to. These fonts are amazing. They are for commercial use, and they are about like over 1,000 fonts that you can utilize. If there's one place I would say we all go to, like solid, this is where you want to be, okay, all? So we're talking about fonts. These are open source fonts. You can utilize these as you wish for commercial. Sound good? Beautiful thing. This is amazing. So font is good, yes, for some really creative titles maybe and some really neat things, but just keep in mind, you've got Google Fonts at your disposal. We will look at variable fonts very soon. Oh my goodness, just the greatest thing since sliced bread. And we will get to variable fonts in a bit, but it's so cool, so cool. Now, that's that. If anything, I'm gonna say, just if you were stressed about fonts, and I didn't mean to stress you out, go here first if you want to find a cool font, okay? From there, if you just can't find what you're looking for, then head over to font and just be aware of what you're downloading, that's all. Because it's on us as designers, not our clients. Our clients are not the ones that are educated in this stuff. Typical business owners are, they understand copyright and trademark, etc., but people overlook fonts as you know what I mean? Many of us do. We're just like, I use it. I use fonts all the time. And you're like, yeah, but you haven't paid for it. And they're like, paid? What are you talking about? So are we ready? Let's get in. Photoshop. What have we done so far? It's all good. It's all good. We'll get through. What I'd like everyone to do, go into Photoshop. Let's do a Command K together. Command K is your best friend. Command K gets you into preferences, okay? You can also access preferences going here into Photoshop and preferences. You can access these through any of your programs with the Command K, okay? Or Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign preferences, or Dreamweaver for that matter, I'm pretty sure. Don't use it, so I'm not sure. So it's all good. Now, a few things here. I always have to kind of zoom in on it. You can always reset all warning dialogues, and you can reset preferences on quit. So if you want to just get back to base, you can do it here, okay? I honestly don't think I've changed a whole lot for this. Can all of you let me know how, if you're in it now, can you have a look at your screen and let me know what yours looks like? Are any of these options different? I have auto show home screen, auto update, skip transform when placing.
I can't open my Photoshop.
The only thing
is my scratch disk is full.
All right, so Jojo, you're in the same place as Evan. You gotta look at, you're having a heck of a time then. You're gonna have to, the long story short with that, Jojo, is you need a new computer, bro.
Fuck.
Sorry. That's what we're getting from that. Just long story short. So Mitch, do your best.
Mitch, just a question. How did you get to the preference window? I don't know where to access that.
Right here, Nazreen, up in the very top right corner, click on the word Photoshop. And it's right there.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Also, try this, Nazreen. I want you to try a shortcut. You ready? I want you to hit Command button.
Yeah.
And I want you to hit Command and K. The K key. There you go. Okay. And we're going to use short keys all the time, and I'll be saying them, so I'll try to go. Everyone can follow along. So I was just going to go through these, real quick. It's going to take all day long if we compare our notes, but we should be very close to being the same here. If you can't get this open, don't stress. You can always come back. I'm being recorded. I also have it in another place up there in Weekly, so plenty of content for you. Interface, pretty straightforward here. What do you like? What do you like? Who do you love here? Black, gray, light gray, white. Yes, this is your old school. When you get into Photoshop or Photoshop next semester, you're going to do color correction. We'd like you to be in the white screen like this. And I know it's not as cool as going over here. But the reason being is for color correction, we want to have a nice bright white coming back at us. Whereas this will throw our eye and won't give us a proper color correction. For now, I just go with the mid gray. You can do whatever you want. Have fun with it. All this stuff is fine for default. We have dynamic color sliders, show menu controls, amazing. Show channels in color, interesting. It's all good. I don't think you have any of this changed up. Look at that, scale UI to front. I'm not going to pretend I know all these settings. I've never pretended to know everything ever, period. I'm just going to go through this and you can follow along. And anything I know that's something that I use daily or anything I know that's of importance to you, I'll just call it out. Ready? Your workspace, we're going to work together on this. Okay. Enable narrow option bars. Again, if you want to just, I should probably just start at default and everyone, we just work through it together that way. But tools. What else we got here? Oh my goodness, look at them all, right? Animated zoom on or off. This is the only one that I really look at in this case. If you're finding that things aren't doing what you want them to do as per the way I'm doing it, chances are it could be in your tool settings, right? Enable gestures, use shift key for tool switch. That's cool, right? Enable flick panning. Again, I don't know what half of this shit is. I'm going to be totally honest with you. And maybe you do, and that's amazing. I mean, if you hover over top of it, will it tell you? Whoop, there it is. Come on. There you go. Determines if flicking with the hand tool. Oh, I didn't get that. Isn't that funny? These short keys, little shortcuts are amazing. I guess I could educate myself too. And you can as well, if it stays up for a second. All right. So that's what I have, okay? History log, don't have a history log. Not worried about that. File handling, saved, edited. And if you're stressing out right now, don't, okay? Your default settings are fine. Don't, if I may have a box check that you don't have, I promise it won't be the end of the world. But there are just a few things I wanted to go over here. This is interesting. Exporting as a PNG file will allow for transparency, which is great. As we know, PNG files, if you're not aware, is the one thing that separates PNG aside from size and compression is the ability to have transparency built into your file, right? And we'll look at that in the coming week. Now, this is the one we looked at with Evan, right? About the scratch disk. Well, he had the scratch disk on here. And I would imagine for a scratch disk, you'd need to, dare I even say external, I don't know if an external hard drive even would work in this regard. It may, I have no idea, to be totally honest. Again, performance, sorry, back up. So how much RAM is your computer utilizing with Photoshop? Let Photoshop use, check it out, 70% of your RAM right now is being allocated to Photoshop right now. That's crazy. So as mentioned, if you have Photoshop and you also have InDesign and Illustrator open, and you have an old beat up Mac or PC, you may find it's chugging along and right, things are not working the way you want it to work. So we need to be aware of this. One thing that'll get you, and you'll notice it even mentioned in the scratch disk link that we checked out, was your history states. History states are exactly that. Remember that I mentioned Command Z, Command Z, 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 Z. Your Command Z, every time that you do a Command Z, Photoshop is remembering your entire work that you're doing. So if you have, say, 75 layered poster that you're working on, yeah, it is remembering every instance of that 70 layer poster 50 times. You can imagine how much room that takes up. When you guys get into doing your movie poster in 4th semester, you're going to do a movie poster with yourself as a portrait. Ooh, funny. Your files can get up to be like a gig because you're going to use raw photos. You're going to be utilizing like professional grade, like, yeah. When you're dealing with this though, you may want to kick this down a little bit to maybe 10 states of memory or instances. This gets dangerous though, especially if you're doing something with life where you might be doing some painting, right? We're going to work with the paintbrush as well, but this, you know, command Z, 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 Z goes really quick. If you just click, click, click with the paintbrush a few times, you're gonna like, oh shit, I'm already at 11 states, and then you can't go back any further. So I like to keep this maybe at a range where I know it's not ridiculous, but it will get me back to where I need to be. I would say after 30 states of something, you should be happy with it. And if you're not happy after 30 states of doing something, you may as well start over again. I'm kidding, but you know what I'm saying? Look at how many you can have in there. What are you guys defaulted to? Can I ask? Are you at like 50? Is that your default?
Yeah, it's 50.
Okay, cool. So Adam, you're at 50. Everyone's probably at 50. If you want to bump that down to maybe 30, that'll remove, you know, that'll remove 20 states from our memory. That will alleviate some of our cache. All right. Cache levels, I have no idea, again, what this is. I'm guessing that's just allocation, again, of memory and how the cache memory works and how much you want to allocate to it. Yeah, sorry. I wish I knew all this stuff. You know, I got lots to remember. So it's all good. Cursors. There we go. This is a nice one. We'll use this every day, right? Precise or standard. It shows you a little icon. I like standard, right? We got our normal brush. I would highly recommend we stay there. Don't do the precise. The reason precise sucks is because normal, it doesn't show the actual size of the brush. Normal is so much better because you can actually watch the brush grow and shrink as you go, right? Which is what we want. Transparency grid, cool. So we use this all the time. You either have a small grid or you have a large grid, medium grid. It's really up to you. I would highly recommend you keep it on though. Okay, don't do none. The reason this is bad is we don't know when something is transparent or not, right? This way, at least with the squares, we know that there's nothing around that object, okay? So please, I just keep it to medium. You can't even change up your colors here. I would suggest not to play with that, but I have seen students do this in the past. It kind of throws me for a loop. We don't need to, just stay there. Gamut warning, sure, so that's all good. Gray, opacity, sure, okay? Now units, really important here all. Make sure, is everyone set to inches? Can someone show it to me?
No, it's points for me.
Amazing. Change it, please. And you're like, no, not my points. Yeah, we're working in inches, remember, 8.5, 11. So if you're used to working with points because you are in the right online and web-based stuff, we're going to look at that in a second. But for now, in this class, I want to work in inches, right? So we're working with inches in GDF class. We're going to work with inches in InDesign and Photoshop and Illustrator. So we want to work in inches here just to get used to doing it. Type in points is fantastic, okay? Print resolution set at 300, which is fantastic. That is our print resolution setting, okay? 72 is anything on web. Yes, as a default, typically. You can adjust these, of course, a little higher, you know, not too much lower, but it's all good, right? Depending on what you're working through. Column sizes, etc., not really important to us. Guides and grids are fantastic. We'll get to this maybe next class, or not in Photoshop, mind you, but it's all good. We will see here options, show all filter gallery. Oh my goodness, look at all these freaking things. There you go. These are plugins, right? So if you know, again, you know all that stuff, rock and roll. Type options, I have everything turned on. Okay, number of recent fonts to display. Again, this may be a little bit of a memory hog, but again, I have 10 instances. What that means is anyone who's even used Word before, you know it has most recent fonts used. That's exactly what this is. So it'll just give you an indication there, okay? How many do you want? I have 10 put in, that's fine, okay? And that's that, okay? Enhanced controls, sure, and we're gonna okay. At the end of the day, all went through just a few things there, to be totally honest. One was history states, yeah, that's about it. Okay, cool. Again, default should be just fine for everyone. I've never had an issue with anyone working with the default. So we'll be golden. Are we ready to rock and roll? Are we excited? We're going to get into it now. Let's create new. Very first step. Wow, we're finally in it, yo. Yeah. We're into the program now. Woo! Holy smokes. So how much do you want to talk about this intro screen? A lot going on here, right? We have recents, and if you're in Photoshop, you're going to have ones that you currently had used. You have saved ones. I don't have any saved. I just manually go in and adjust generally. You have your photos at the top. So just going across the top here, everyone, right? And check it out. We've got all this stuff, landscape. You've got, look at this, templates that you have available to you. One thing I have to stress, we don't use templates, okay? We're the ones that create the templates. Remember that quote. We're the ones that create the templates. We don't use templates. Sound good? Now, some of these might be okay as a base starter, but at general terms, we want to create. Yeah? Letter, legal, tabloid, etc. There we go. Look at all these labels, right? You can go in and grab these things. Some of them are free with the paid subscription. So this is beautiful for mocking up for customers, mind you. So it's really awesome, fantastic. It uses smart objects for the most part. So if you're not into Photoshop too much, it can be a little bit challenging, but really just watch a video on how to use smart objects. It'll get you there. Do we use smart objects this semester? No. Okay. Again, this is intro, right? We're just getting into the program. So I'm pretending like none of you have experience in this. Okay. That being said, I still think hopefully we'll learn a few things together. Okay. We'll have art and illustration templates here. Okay. Web, mobile, film and print, film and video. Cool. Yeah. Look at that. HDMI, 720, etc. Let's go to print. Woohoo. All right. That's cool. Actually, shoot, let's close down for a second. There's a whole bunch of stuff here that maybe we're not aware of. So let's just have a look really quickly here. Few things. You want to be a Photoshop expert? Awesome. Go into LinkedIn.com, LinkedIn Learning, watch a bunch of videos, yes? Hands-on tutorials. You can watch all of these tutorials. They're all here for you if you want to do that, okay? We don't need to do that. We're here, we're learning, right? And that's why we're paying for college, but it is here for any independent learners, right? You have your Lightroom Photoshop, you have your cloud documents and deleted files. Actually, this is the living room that this is what my music room's gonna look like. This is all Photoshop. I took a picture of my room, and then this is all Photoshop. Like I took pictures of my instruments and then I threw stuff on. I know you can see it looks really bad here, the violins, but you get the idea. So, right, those are my recent stuff. You'll notice it's on the cloud, and that shows you indicated here with this little thing. You're like, yeah, okay, Mitch, you can use Photoshop. Whoopity-doo. So, what's new? Click on the what's new icon. Hey, Photoshop on your iPad. Cool. If you haven't looked into Procreate yet, and you have a Mac pad, go ahead and get Procreate loaded. You're gonna love it, okay? Natural filters, sky replacement. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that cool, right? We have enhanced cloud documentation here, pattern preview. Ooh, what's that? Pattern Maker is really fun. We're gonna do this in Illustrator together soon. Not in this semester, but you'll get there. And if you want to do all this stuff, just watch the videos, have fun, learn. Yeah. We're busy though, right, man? We're just, I don't expect you to do any of that now, but I mean, if you got some time during your break, it's all good. We won't have much of a break, will we? We're going to just be in it to win it. So let's go create new. All right. Sorry, we're back at it. I just wanted to go over that quickly, this whole interface, because it's all the same, right? Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop, they all have the same ability. You'll notice that I did mention about the iCloud. It is here for you, right? And it saves directly to my cloud, right? Which is kind of cool. Anyway, that being said, are we ready? Print. Go into the print dialog. Now, let's go and change the name, okay? I gave you a name. Everyone needs a name. Let's go in and see if we can't find that name. Okay, now if I go into lecture and instructions here, you will find that I gave you a few things. We're going to have Command K, we're going to look at DPI, and we're going to work on a cat collage. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to know is we have that cat collage, and that's the one we're going to work on. So let me just go here in collage. So I'm in assignments, everyone, right here. Okay. And we need to know what to name this collage, and I'll put that in each of the assignments here. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we have, please watch a video, lecture and instructions to complete fully. You'll be duplicating this sample. Okay, and there we go. And we name it accordingly right here. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we don't need to clock in yet. I'll try to remember. Hopefully you remember. Once we begin the collage, I do want you to clockify. You might want to have clockify open now, just so you remind yourself. Maybe set a timer for about an hour from now. Don't forget, get into the collage. Okay, so all I'm doing here is I got to check out the name. We're going to do this for all of our assignments. Make sure we know what the name is. Command C. Notice what I just did there? Command C. So I copied it. And then I'm literally going to go into Photoshop, and all I'm going to do is paste it in the name. Paste. Done. Cool, eh? Do that for all your projects. You got to go look at the name anyway. You might as well just copy paste it. Save you from typing it out. It's all about saving time. There we go. My name, Cat Collage. We are ready to rock and roll. Now, let's have a look at the instructions a little further. We're going to do this together, as mentioned. This is an in-class. We need a new document. We're going to save it at 5 inches by 5 inches, 300 DPI, which is for print. I know, Nana. Well, Nana might want this framed. She's like, oh, I can't wait to get my kitty cat collage. I'm so excited. And you're like, yeah, okay, Nana. Just take it down. We're going to go here, 5 inches. You should hopefully, when you want to print, notice that it is in inches. Thank you, Photoshop. It seems like every other program is like going to pixels regardless. It's print, man. Smarten up. 5, tab, 5. There you go. Amazing. You'll notice orientation will change depending on your dimension. We worked on this in GDF, right? If it's a 10 by 5, notice how the actual orientation will change to landscape. Cool, eh? Because it knows that it's 10 that way. But 5 by 5 is just going to go to portrait. Artboards we won't be utilizing, but it is an option here, which is cool. Fairly new as of a few years back. Not many people use it, and it is a contentious point with some people. Resolution, 300 DPI. Now you'll see 300, as we looked at in the Command K in preferences, is our print minimums. So I want everyone to change this to 300. You shouldn't have to change it because you use the print setting. Notice that that is what it defaults to. Also, have a look here. Really important. Please make sure you're not in centimeters. If you're in centimeters, that's very different, isn't it? A centimeter compared to an inch are like, how many centimeters in an inch? Maybe 2? I don't even know. I haven't done the math. 2.2 or something, 1.7, something like that. I don't know if I'm confusing kilometers and feet. So pixels per inch, yeah. And it should be there again, defaulted. But now, interesting. Color mode, grayscale, CMYK. Adam, yes.
What is 1 second? PPCM. Because I have that also on mine.
PP,
CM.
that would be centimeters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So mine just, you're on a PC, right, Adam?
Yeah.
Yeah. So your preview, it just looks a little different than mine.
Okay.
Just make sure your pixels per inch is good.
Yeah.
Cool. So RGB color all, color mode, bitmap, grayscale, RGB, CMYK, lab. We're going to get into color theory. Lab is light times A times B. And you're like, what? CMYK, cyan, magenta, yellow, black, right? Red, green, blue, grayscale. Now in Photoshop all, even though we're going to print this and it's CMYK is our print setting, we need to use Photoshop in RGB, okay? RGB is a larger color spectrum, number 1. Number 2, the main reason we use RGB in Photoshop is it allows us to have full reign over the controls within. If you're on CMYK, number 1, it's going to increase your file size exponentially because you're adding a channel, right? There's 4 colors, not 3, yeah? And it will, if you're on CMYK, it's going to gray out some of the awesome options that allow us to do some really cool shit in Photoshop. So we always want to be in CMYK, okay, for that. Just word to the wise. The very last step that we do, everyone, when we send to our client or the printer or whatever it is we convert our pictures from RGB to CMYK. Sound good? So keep that in mind, all right?
Why? Why do we do that?
Why do we do what, sorry?
Why do we change it from RGB to CMYK when we send it to the client?
Because the CMYK is what printers print in.
Okay, all right. And this can be done through Photoshop?
Oh, 100%, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and Nazreen, we'll go over this all together, okay? Yeah, so for now though, everyone, please, we're gonna work in the RGB color space for now. And then it's one of those things we just have, and honestly, if your client is doing something just strictly for web-based material, you leave it in RGB, right? Of course. I'm talking, sorry, about if you're sending to the printer. We need to make sure that we do convert things, okay? If you're doing something web-based only, it's okay to leave it in RGB. You want to leave it in RGB for web-based stuff. But I am emulating the fact that we will be sending to a printer, okay? Sound good? So we're gonna get a 5x5 little custom print made for Nana, all right? Cool. Now, background color, white is good, yes? Awesome. Color profile, square pixels. So some of this, again, Nazreen, just to kind of call out, some of this may be a little foreign, but don't worry, I promise we're gonna get to the color stuff. Shoot, I think next week in Graph Design Fundamentals, okay? So this will be explained a little further next week for everyone, okay? So let's go ahead and create. I think we're ready to rock and roll our first Photoshop document together. We should all have a little white document like so, okay? Everyone get that okay? You now will notice you have your name at the top, yes? Check this out, scroll over top of your name and right click. This is really cool. If you right click, you have the ability to reveal in Finder. Now reveal in Finder is not there because we haven't saved this yet. So it doesn't know where this file is located, yes? That being said, you're ready, Command S or File, and let's do a save, okay? You probably don't have this dialog because mine is the cloud. It's telling me, do you want to save directly to the cloud? And I say, no, I do not. Okay, I'm not sure what your document layup here looks like. Mine is a little bit finicky. I usually have to just make it a little larger here. Okay, you'll notice this can trip you up, everyone, if you're having a heck of a time. It looks something like this. You just have to click here on the little click down arrow, and that will then give you all your options. So this is a really important step. Don't hurt yourself with this. If you miss this step, it can be really tedious, and you can find it here, of course, in the drop down. I'm just very visual. I like to be able to see everything. There we go, right? And I have Bernie. Yeah, I did a Bernie thing. Oh my goodness. Not by choice. Somebody asked me to. I didn't do it. Just could jump on the Bernie wagon. Cab. Yep. Let's go into cab. Nice. We should have that on the sidebar, right? If not, you can find it, of course, through here as well. Okay. Courses, Mohawk documents, wherever you may find it. And then I'm going to go here and we're going to go into weekly projects and mini assignments. Cat Collage in classes right here. I know it's new because it says today at 9:47. We're then going to go into working. Good.
I'm sorry, Mitch, but I could not do any of that. And I really don't know why.
Okay, no problem. So Nazreen, go here to File. And did you do a Save As?
Yes, save
Okay.
as.
And then do you have a window that looks like this?
Yes, when I choose save on your computer.
All right. Yes. So we don't want to save on your computer. We want to find a folder that we can save it into, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have the sidebar here?
Yeah.
Good. Remember, and I'm not sure if you did this with me, Nazreen, but we grabbed some folders in week 2, I believe, and we put some folders over here.
Well, I do have some folders, the one we created together in class. I didn't grab them here. On the left-hand side, I have desktop and then documents and then downloads.
Okay. So Where's your Mohawk folder? Do you know where your Mohawk folder is?
It's in documents.
Amazing. So click on the documents.
Okay.
That'll then show up here, and you should have options to go and then into Mohawk, right?
See, those options are not showing here. I don't know, for some reason they're not showing.
Okay, I'm gonna have to help you out. Nazreen, for now, click into documents.
Okay.
All right. And what I'd like you to do is, can you go to new folder right here? Click on new folder for me.
New folder, all right.
And then just call this out. We'll call this cat collage, okay?
Okay,
And let's come back to this. Remind me before we leave, all right? We'll come back to it.
all right.
So I can see what you're looking at, because I can't help you unless I can see it.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
No problem. But yeah, just anyone, if you're struggling there, just create a folder, put it in documents for now. We'll come back and we'll have a look together, okay? So working your name, cat collage, PSD. Check it out, all. We know that this is a Photoshop document, and that's what PSD stands for, right? Now, whole bunch of different options here, right? Check this out. If you go into format, you can, in fact, save this as all of these different types of files. Right now, though, PSD is our native, and that's where I want to be, and I'm going to hit save. Awesome. So go ahead and save it. Nice. Now, if you right-click on the tab, Reveal in Finder, it'll take you right to the file. Nice little tip in Mac. I love that. The Reveal in Finder. Maybe PC has it too. I don't know. Okay, so that'll then allow you to get to it right away. I'm going to close that down. We will be utilizing this very soon. So I'm going to just leave this window open. Okay, and we are going to need from client, right? And we're going to be using the imagery. So you can just get that open, get it prepped. We're not quite ready yet because there's one last thing I want to do. Then we can take maybe 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and actually work on the collage. I think the collage will take us about an hour. So we're in good place right now. And we've covered off, I think, quite a bit already, hopefully. You'll agree. Or maybe you're like, no, but it's all good. Now, you will notice your workspace is one thing I wanted to do. Now, your workspace right now, and you're like, well, what's a workspace, Mitch? A workspace is exactly as it states. It is these little tabs and the general settings that are available to you as you go through your everyday work. Yes, you have your tools along the left side. You have your history states right here. You have your color, swatches, gradients, and do this with me. Just flip through. You can't hurt anything, right? It's good to get used to this because if you're not familiar with these programs, you want to get familiar with these things. Because now I say all of them, I have a custom workspace that I want you to set up. Are you ready to rock and roll? Let's set up our own custom cab class workspace. We're going to do it right now together, okay? Now, to get to a workspace, there are a few ways you can do it. Check it out. There's a workspace button right here. See this little tiny guy here by the magnifying glass? If you click on this, check out what you're defaulted to. And probably everyone's here to Essentials. If you're on a PC or if you're on a different version of Photoshop, it's going to look different. But in general terms, this is here for us. You can go into motion. Look at that. If you're doing motion graphic, it'll give you a timeline. It will then allow you to do, your animated GIFs and export to MP4, whatever it may be. Okay. We can go here, check out different ones. 3D one. Cool. So this is what we would work in with 3D, right? Stuff. There's our brushes, right? Another brush, right? Clone stamp. It's really interesting how they categorize this stuff in things that you feel like they make it so it makes sense. I don't know how this is a 3D one. I guess you have a timeline there, but it's all good. Painting. There we go. You want to do some digital painting? Fantastic, right? You got your color swatches, you got all that. Now, let's create our own. You ready? What I'd like you to do is go here, go to Essentials. I want everyone to be right there in the Essentials palette, right here, top right. I also want you to know where to find it. That's in Window and in Workspace. Look at all these dialogues, right? There's so many things here. This program is endless, but it's so much fun. And don't be intimidated. I promise it's not scary. It'll be good. It'll be great. Okay. Now, workspace. Notice you have a few things down here. Okay. I have, it's really funny that after I installed my new Photoshop, I currently don't have CAB class anymore. Yeah, that's funny. It didn't bring it over. That's amazing. So no worries. You're ready? Let's do this together. I gave you a workspace I want everyone to emulate, and it's right here in module. You don't need to do this with me right now because I have it for you, of course. But this is what I need from everyone, okay? And I am going to just do this. I'm going to download it. So I have a picture of it to my right. And we can work from this. There we go. Cool, eh? So I've got layers. I've got characters. I've got color, swatches, paths and channels, history, and then properties and libraries. So I have all of these things open. I like to have them open. And if you're like, oh, that's too much, don't worry about it. Many of this stuff can be accessed through properties, but these are things. And the reason all that I get you to do this is so that when I'm working with the in-class stuff, it's right at your fingertips. Does that make sense? Because otherwise, if I say go to channels or go to paths, you're going to be like, oh, I'm always going to say go to window if you don't have paths in your workspace. But I'm hoping that we can speed it up and then I can just say go to paths and you can find paths and we're there. Sound good? So this is what I need from everyone. All right. You're ready? Let's bring our first image into Photoshop or not. You don't need to do this, but I will. I'm going to literally grab this file. Okay, if you want to download this workspace with me, you can try it. And we can just go and grab the workspace, click and drag and drop. And that will literally come into Photoshop like so. Cool, eh? And if you're like, dude, I didn't get that, don't stress about it. I'm just showing you how you can quickly bring in a photo into Photoshop like so. And that was just by dragging and dropping directly on, okay? So what else do I have here? Do I have anything else? Screenshot. What is this one? I don't know. Click and drag. There you go. Another screenshot. Awesome. This is my Illustrator workspace we'll work together on. Okay. Next few weeks time. Now, when you drag something into Photoshop, you can just say command, right? Escape key. If you hit the escape key, that'll negate it. It'll just get rid of it. So if you hit the escape, no, it's all good. Okay. Or you can hit the enter key, of course, and that will just commit it. Okay. This is what we need to do. You ready? Let's get it set up. All right. So also I'm finding it drives me bananas when I start up, and you may not have this, but I'm finding that I have smart guides or extras turned on all the time. Turn those off. They drive me nuts. I don't know why mine's defaulted to on. Maybe that's, again, one of those settings that I just needed to click off that I haven't seen in all those things. So extras, if yours is on, turn it off. That's just going to be pink lines everywhere, and we won't need them, okay? There we go. Are we ready? Let's get started. We're going to build this, okay? And I'm going to just zoom in so we can see it a little better. It gets a little confusing because I'm going to have it open here, and we're going to do it together here. Right. So first thing, layers, extremely important. And I'm going to just navigate to all of these things. I'm not going to, and then we'll build them together. So this is twofold. One, it's going to get us really used to using the tabs and working with creating our own workspaces. And then two, it's going to just allow us to kind of familiarize ourselves with how we can build our own space, right? So what I need everyone to do is in Window, basically we're going to find everything. Check it out. Tons of stuff. Go here and click on Layer. You'll notice Layers was here in the Essentials palette, but it's way down here. Oh my goodness. Layers are like the most important thing we need to remember. It's going to allow us to see how things are built, okay? Now, and I have something that looks like this, and you can change, check it out. One thing I wanted to call out with layers right now, notice you can change how your layers are previewed. First thing I wanted to call out with every one of these tabs that we're working with. If you click on these three, I call it the hamburger. If you click on the burger up to the top right corner of any of these tabs, click, look at the options you have available to you. This is ridiculous. So in layers, we have 1,000 different things that we can do within just by clicking on this little dialog right here. See that? I'm putting my mouse on it. So if you click on that button, you'll notice many of these have it. Properties has one, not many. Adjustments, check out what that has in it. Adjustments has a ton, right? We have our color, click on the color one. Look at them all, right? Swatches, click on swatches, click on it, see what happens. Oh my goodness, we can't break anything, right? It's all good. So what I wanted to call out here all, notice mine, you can actually change the view of how your layers look. And that's right here in panel option, see that? So if you click on panel option for me after clicking on the hamburger, it'll give you these dudes, right? Notice mine is turned to none. You may, and I'd highly recommend we put on an icon. It makes our lives a little easier. And putting the icon on then just allows us to see, notice how it changed. And now it knows that I have this workspace image that I placed within my artboard. See that? You ready? You can turn your layers on and off at any time with this little eyeball. And if you're like, dude, I didn't even bring that thing in. So don't stress, it's okay. We'll get there. I just wanted to show you. We'll do this again together, okay? But this is turning a layer on and off, and notice how all of these options go to default gray by clicking it off, right? So layers are a bit of a mind flip. We're gonna have to work with layers and get used to it because it's not something we're naturally, that we pick up on. Maybe some of us did it again. Maybe we're more familiar with, some of us are more familiar with Photoshop than others, but layers are where we wanna be. Layers are like sheets on a bed, okay? You got your fitted sheet, and in this case, my background's my fitted sheet, right on my mattress. I guess this would be my mattress. Then I've got my fitted sheet. Then as I build layers, I'm gonna have my duvet. And if you're my wife, you've got another duvet and another duvet, another duvet, and then you got your pillows on top. Yeah, so, or it's like an onion donkey, yeah? Layers, all right? Anyway, that's my analogy for the day, but we'll get there. Again, don't stress. I just wanted us to get our layers palette open, that's all. So we got that okay? Cool. Go here now, window. And I want you to go into character, which is right here. Okay, and we're gonna click on character. Character, you'll notice if you're in the essentials, it's the little A icon here. And it has character and paragraph built in. Now, I want to show you a neat little trick here. You ready? I want you to go here with it, like click on the A. I want you to hover over top. Notice where my mouse is. I want you to click right on the top of this bar, this tab. Okay, you got it? Click, hold down, don't let go. Drag out. What you'll notice is I then broke that away. Cool, eh? You'll notice that character and paragraph, they were both here on the side panel, are now right here. You ready? The next little thing I want us to do, check it out. I can move this around. Yay. I know it gets confusing with this here. I'm just using it for reference. It is a picture. We're going to go here. You ready? Take your character palette. Woo, move it around. Yay. Now, this is a bit of a trick. What I need you to do is if you hover over top of a certain area, you can snap it to there or there. Notice your black arrow needs to be pointing exactly at that area, not the actual, if you're trying to do it with the tab, actually that's getting better. Notice like if you do it here and you're like, Mitch, it's not working. It'll go blue for you, right? Hover over top, blue, perfect. Hover over top, and I want it anchored to the bottom and let go. Check it out, cool. At any time, you can grab these, pull them off if you don't want it. So go here, click, drag, drop, let go. Beautiful. Look at it, look at it, look at it. We've got our character and we got our layers set up. It's a beautiful thing, right? Now, next thing, color, extremely important here, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'd like to break my color out. Nice. Also, I'm gonna go here and with our hamburger here, get your hamburger on, I want you to go to RGB sliders. There we go, okay? Now with RGB sliders on, it allows us to do a really quick pick. See that? Boop, 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 with our eyedropper. And just hover over top of this area. If you don't have that, you should, because I think I'm set to default right now. It looked like it didn't save my workspaces the last time I started. So we're all in the exact same spot. Actually, it worked out beautiful. Okay, cool. So RGB, where we want to be, and even just having this is great, okay? Allows us to use that. Now you're ready, go here and snap it right there. See that? See how I did that? Actually, you know what? Let's leave that out for a second because we're going to do a few other things. Notice I have color and then I have swatches, gradients, and patterns. Swatches, gradients, and patterns. Cool. What I like to do is break this chunk away. There we go. See that? Good, good, good. I see some chats going on. I didn't see any hands going up. So are we just general question? And I want to snap it there. Okay. So check out your swatches. Oh my goodness, they really amped this up as a few things ago. Grayscale, CMYK, light. If you ever need color swatches in Photoshop, look at this, already built in for you. Dark, darker, grayscale, right? Beautiful. RGB, fantastic. Gradients, oh my goodness, look at all these beautiful gradients in here. Woo, babe, that's awesome, right? And we'll work with a gradient actually today, right? That being said, patterns, oh my goodness, grass and trees, and look at all these cool patterns that are here. Okay, we won't get here, but you can play around with it if you wish. Try it. You can't hurt anything, right? We're just going to play, 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 play. That's all we're doing. That's how I relate all of these programs. You got to get in it. You got to play it. Play, 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 just like we play Call of Duty. Will you play Photoshop as much as you play Call of Duty? Dude, you will be freaking Photoshop master. And if you're like, I don't like Call of Duty, well, pick a game. And if you don't like video games, well, you got lots of time, right? Cool. So color, paths and channels. Hey, they're right here for us. See that? Nice. You ready? What I want you to do is see if you can't take it directly from here and snap it right to the bottom of this line. You ready? Let's try it. Click, drag, and snap. Hey, cool. Notice though, oh shit, don't do that. Notice this can be a little challenging. When you're moving things around, notice I just did it. I grabbed the wrong one and it grabbed the actual palette instead of the main thing. So you need to be really aware of what you're doing with it, right? You need to know that you're going to move it. And I do wish that they made this a little bit bigger, but you need to click right from the top. Now, paths and channels, there we go. I just clicked on the channels and then opened it up. If you do find that something is kind of hidden, you can do show options typically on these panels, and then they will show option, okay? But in this case, I've got my paths. This is coming along really nicely, okay? And we're at 2-hour mark, so we're doing good. We're doing good. We're getting set up. That's really what today was all about. And then to work on a cat collage, of course. That's good. That's good, all. We've got properties and libraries. Let's take adjustments out of there. We won't get there this semester. Well, we will a little bit, but not enough to keep it as our workspace. Properties, everyone, is your one-stop shop for everything. It's like your Walmart of Photoshop, dare I say. It's a superstore right here. It's got everything you need typically. We are building this up so that I have the main panels open because not all things will be showing in properties. Properties, as mentioned, is a Walmart, but it doesn't really specialize in anything. It gives a general view and allows you to do general stuff. I want you to have the panels because there might be things in the panels like here in the character panel that offers up a lot more option. Whereas the properties will just get you general character. It won't give you all these options, okay? So why we do create this. Now we're ready. Last step, we're almost there. I want you to grab your main box and I want you to click, boom, and let's drag that right there. Check it out, all. We now have our Photoshop workspace basically set up here. Now, history is right here. And where did I put history down here? Oh, I put it at the bottom. So we are missing history. So let's grab our history state, which is right here built in. And if you grab that little, look at this, you can actually grab the little square and notice what happened. By grabbing the square, we just need to be very careful because it gets a little confusing. There it is. You can try that with me. Notice how you can do this. See, you can click on the top right corner of each of these, not the hamburger, but the one above the hamburger. Click, click. Truncates.
Mitch,
Yo.
Can we just go back 2 steps on how did you get the color panel attach to the layer panel. I'm trying to attach them. They're not attaching here.
Okay, no worries, Nazreen. So let me break that off for everyone. And the thing with this is when I break it off, it will not break the whole panel off. So just give me a second. I'll just do this for you. We'll go there, and then we're going to snap it there, and then we are going to snap that there, and color, and sorry. So Nazreen, when you're doing this, to snap it to, notice the black arrow is what you're going to need to look at. Okay, so here, let me just get rid of this so I can show it to you. It gets really confusing when I have this other word. There we go. Okay, so even let me just move this over here. That's better. Okay, cool, much better. Nice. So we've got everything we need. Now, Nazreen, you may have something like this currently, right?
Yes.
Awesome. What I need you to do is click on the top, the very, very top of this one, and you should be able to move it around. Yes?
Yes.
Amazing. You ready? This is the trick. And this is why you're not getting it to work, because you're doing this and you're like, Mitch, you're full of baloney, Mitch, right? Now, to make it work, Nazreen, what you have to do, the black arrow that you see is what you need to point. See that?
Oh, okay.
And then let go.
Done.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Cool. So let's get our history states put in here. So that was the last one. It was right here on the side panel. Just grab and rip that one off. It looks like this. And then we can go, history is a really important one. Remember, we have 30 states of history. And now if I do a Command Z, do that with me. Command Z, hold Command down with your thumb. Command, and then hit Z with your finger. Command, Z, Z, Z. Check it out. New layer, new layer. Z, Z. Notice how it's cycling through my history, right? Z, Z, Command Z, 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 Z. And then it will take me all the way back to my 30 states of history. And yes, I've done about 30 states so far, right? And notice how layer visibility, just clicking on the eyeball is literally a state that it takes a snapshot for you. That's crazy, man, right? So there we go. Place an embedded smart object there. I can go all the way back to Mitch's cat collage in history. That will then start me over. Yes? If you're like, oh, I went back too far, don't worry. You still have your history.
No. How do we do that again? So okay, we've done the command Z, Z, Z. We canceled everything. How do we redo it all again?
No worries. So do that with me. Command Z, 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 Z. Now, Nazreen, what you can do is scroll in your history, scroll down and notice how everything's grayed out. See how it's all gray? And
yes.
Then you can go all the way back to the very last one, click on it, and then it will reactivate everything.
Okay.
And you can go anywhere within that. Notice how I'm just clicking, and then you can go, I'm using my scroll wheel. Again, that's really handy if you get a mouse. I use my scroll wheel all the time, right? To just go quickly through. You may have to do it this way if you're doing it with your trackpad. And again, if you can please get a mouse, it's so helpful. Instead of having to manually go here to do these these things, you can just, I'm using my scroll wheel, right? Just scroll up and scroll down and then click. And that's just our history. We'll get there together, but I'm going to start back at history state here. All right, we're almost there. We just need to save this now. Woohoo! We have our properties. We have our layers. If you want, you can do this all. You ready? Try to see if you can't anchor this right even to the side if you wish. See that? Now, if you anchor it to the side, you can then truncate it. See that? This is the way I may suggest that you do it for now. This is a beauty. Number one, it gives us the name of the tool, right? The problem with the other one is that it's a little box and it's hard to remember what those boxes are. But by utilizing it this way, it broke the whole thing off, right? Notice by doing that, it actually broke off everything. Now I've got the whole thing moving. Woo, look at that. Now, if I accidentally do that, good lesson though, if you do this, don't worry. We just have to do just like we did before. And see that? You can actually go whoop, and put it there. Okay. So we're going to go here and let go. Amazing. And now that we're here, everyone, this is a beauty. What I would do is when we save this workspace, you're going to be, some of us might be like, oh my goodness, I got little room to work with here. I know. And that's why what we're going to do is we're just going to hide or truncate some of this stuff. But for now, yeah, let's truncate these ones. So what I mean by that is these little arrows. Click on the arrow, click on the arrow. There we go. So now you can see it. Layers, character, paragraph, perfect. Colors, swatches, gradients, patterns, channels, paths, history, fantastic. And then properties and libraries. You can even truncate that. I like to keep my properties open at all times because that again is your Walmart of Photoshop. Okay, one-stop shop. So now we're ready to rock. Let's go in. Window, everyone, really important step. I want everyone to create a cab space workshop. I call it, we might call it a workshop too. It's our workshop. Workspace is right here, everyone. Follow along, window workspace. And I want you to new right there. It's what, 4-1 above, 4 from the bottom. 1, 2,
I'm sorry, Mitch, we did that already before we started.
No, we did not. We haven't created a new workspace yet.
I did create one with you in this class and I called it cab class.
Oh yeah, when did you do that?
Before you started making adjustments to the workspace.
Oh, okay. You didn't need to do that yet. That's okay if you did that. We're gonna do a new workspace again right now.
Okay, should I cancel the one?
No,
that
no, Nazreen, what we're gonna do is just make sure you name it exactly the same, okay?
the new one I create, I will call it cab class.
You got it.
All right, thank you.
And then what you're going to get, Nazreen, is yours is just going to be a little different from everyone or some of us. Maybe someone else did this as well. You may find that, and yes, sorry, you were deceived because it has in my picture, it had go to new. Yes, sorry about that. New workspace, everyone. Go ahead and go into new workspace. Okay. Now you will notice here, there are a few things that you can click on in our workspace. Tools, we didn't look at tools, did we? And we can come back to that. The only thing really in tools that I like to look at is making sure that you have the gradient functionality built in. Now we'll look at tools in a bit. Let's just go ahead and get this saved. Now, keyboard shortcuts, let's go ahead and save that. Menus are great. Go ahead and save. That's important. Toolbar, sure. Let's save that as well. I'm just going to make sure that when I save this, it captures everything. It's going to capture my tools. Pretty straightforward, yes? What I now need you to do is go in and name it. Cab class. Amazing. Now, if you have one already named cab class, fantastic. What it's going to do is it's going to say, you already have one named cab class. Do you want to replace it? And all you say is yes. For those of us who didn't, save, and it'll just, boom, done. You then will notice workspace is now there for us right here. Okay. You have cab class up at the top. You now have reset cab class, which means if you accidentally do this and do this with me, you ready? Let's make a mess of our workspace. Let's go in and we can grab our layers, and I'm going to grab my paragraph, and I'm going to grab my color. And we do this all the, like, depending on the tools you need, you may want to pull them out, right? If you're painting, digital painting, you may want to pull your swatches out and have them right there. You may want to open up your brushes and open up your brushes, right? And have your brushes built in right there to my swatches, and then have those ready to rock and roll. Now, there we go. What a dog's breakfast, right? Look at this mess. You're ready? Let's do this. Go into window. I want you to go into workspace, and I want you to go into, let's go into 3D. There you go. So here's my 3D workspace, right? Now, next week, when we come back into Photoshop, the first thing I'm going to have everyone do is go into the workspace, cab workspace. And you're going to be like, you're going to get used to it because I'm going to say every class. Well, Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. Okay. Now, you ready? Let's go back and pretend like it's next week. And I'm going to say, okay, everyone, let's go back into our cab workspace. And you're going to say, okay, Mitch, let's rock and roll. Window, workspace. I want you to go into CAB workspace right there. We are in 3D at the moment. If you click into the CAB workspace, oh my goodness. This is like leaving your room messy and then hiding under some blankets and hoping that it's going to clean itself. It does not clean itself. We do not have that ability, a Homer Simpson styles. So what we need to do is we just need to click on reset workspace. That's it. So I'm going to do that with everyone next week as well. And I'm going to say, maybe we've left our messy room. We need to then go in and reset that messy that messy workspace. So by hitting reset, boom, it's all clean and we're ready to rock and roll. Sound good? All that's Workspaces 101. So hopefully we got there and we're ready to rock. You'll notice clicking on here, it is now built in to your workspace there. Okay, if you want to create your own workspaces for ones that you personally want to use, you can then create one, say for digital painting, you may want to create one, whatever you might be doing, right? So yeah, that's that. So I'm going to stop share there. Let's take a break. Okay. And we good? We got our workspaces?
Thank you, Mitch. That was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, good.
Because I did attend a few classes before in the past.
Yes.
And I mean, they left us totally in the dark. And I always had that question of how do I organize my tools? I didn't even know how to call it workspace.
Sure.
It was an absolute mess. Now I feel like you've organized my brain, not it feels a lot different. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you found some benefit to that. So I'll take a break and then we'll come back. Holy, we're gonna have to zoom through the cat collage though. And that's okay. You know, it is what it is. I don't mind. I find this class goes a little bit long. Usually I'll try not to. But yes, this was a big one because we're just getting set up.